So first of all, congratulations on this. It is such an interesting watch. I get before anything else, how did the story come to you? How did you find out about this guy's incredible journey?
I mean, it came out of a trip to Kosovo just to visit a festival
Hmm.
and sit on a jury. And then I met a local filmmaker who said, "Hey, would you like to do a project with me,
Hmm.
with these kids?" And I said, "Yes." And I got a bit of funding for us to start. And then the collaboration fell apart. But then I was kind of in it. And
Hmm.
then so the film started in that way,
Hmm.
by actually somebody else saying, "Hey, should we do a collaboration?"
Wow. It took a while for this to get made. How involved did you get with the with your subjects? Because it's difficult not to get very caught up in this entire thing, especially with such a story, such a powerful thing that you're documenting.
Yeah, I mean, of course, because the film has been made over 15 years, we're very connected, and it's not just me and them, it's my crew and me and them.
Hmm.
We're a group around the film, who did the first film in 2008 and have worked on this film as well. So it's a whole little gang
Hmm.
that have worked together. And we are super connected to them because we've known them since they were children. So we really have witnessed their lives and have also been able to talk to them about their lives in a way that maybe not so many other people have in their lives.
Hmm.
Because of the taboo of what they went through, it's been silenced a lot. But with us, it's not silence because we made a film about it.
Hmm.
It's the opposite of silencing. And we made a film about it, and now we made another film. So there's a very intimate and open space
Hmm.
where we talk about what they have gone through.
Um, the idea of, sharing a story like this, for me, it's like, uh, would take a lot of effort in order to get that vulnerability that he was able to do on camera. Um, when you first started this, was it tough to get him to talk about what was going on with him and how he felt about a lot of this stuff?
What do you mean, him?
Yeah, our main, well, not our main, I guess one of our subjects, I can't remember his name right now.
No, it's not so clear in the film either.
Yeah.
Do you say something about him? Then I know who it is.
He's the guy who wanted to be a rapper.
Yeah, Gëzim. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Gëzim is a very special character
Mhm.
because when we did the first film, he after having done the short film, he decided he was an artist. He was
Mhm.
like, "I'm going to be an artist," and he started to rap and write texts
Mhm.
about his life. And he also started to say, "I'm an actor," like I perform.
Mhm.
So he took this artist persona on and took it very seriously. And he was the one who's been actually over the years the most sort of like would approach us and look us up and get very involved with us and people around us. So and to open him up, I mean, was that your question? Like, how do
Mhm.
we? Yeah, I mean, I think. I'm not sitting feeling like I did something to open him up, but there is I think because with all of them in the film, because we knew them as children
Mhm.
and we saw what they went through, there's like a special bond because we were witnesses and
Mhm.
we were witnesses who were willing to talk about it. And so there were other witnesses in their lives to what they went through as children, but they are less comfortable talking about it because there's a lot of shame attached.
Mhm.
But with us, there's no shame, and we have a lot of empathy and understanding from having been there and having seen it
Mhm.
and being willing to talk about it. So I think that has created a lot of trust and a lot of intimacy. And then we also just have had a way of working that's quite close and quite intimate and not, we haven't let the world in very much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. The camera seems to be another character in this. The way you document it helps us not just see their world, but also be immersed in everything that's going on. How difficult is it to talk to a, director of photography and have him or her be able to capture this so intimately, so personally?
I mean, I think, first of all, the film is done in a way that nothing else I've done is done. So we've done it with no schedule. And
Hmm.
whenever we've filmed something, we've filmed until we had it, you know.
Yeah.
So that kind of patience with doing something, you don't normally, you aren't allowed having that in most films because of the schedule.
Hmm.
But this is done with more time than you usually have. So when they were children, we would film, 30 takes sometimes of one little monologue. So there's a lot of very patient work. And we would, as we were doing the takes, of course, I would work on their performance, but we would also work on the image. We kept adjusting and kept like, this is exactly so. So because it's shot very simply, there's not so many shots. We haven't done coverage. There's not so many shots. With a lot, we're working with one shot.
Hmm.
So that one shot, we could really, as if it was a painting or still, work a lot with it to really get it right. Um, and I think the DOP Mike Visa and I, when we developed the visuality of the first short film, which is carried through in the longer film, we had a lot of different principles that we worked from. We're both fairly conceptual when we work.
Hmm.
And one principle we had was this anti-documentary principle, which was we can't film anything that happens.
Oh.
So we actually were forbidden to turn on the camera on the world.
Hmm.
We could only film things that were staged, that we staged.
Oh, okay. Okay. My next question was about how if there was any obstacles in bringing in a camera in these locations because it doesn't seem like this side of the world has been shown very often. This looks so unique and so raw. Was
Mhm.
there any difficulty in getting that type of feel for this?
I mean, a lot of difficulty, a lot of the locations, we spend a lot of time location scouting and finding locations, really a lot of time. And I think, a lot of locations are not, some of their homes are not their homes, it's
Hmm.
locations that we've staged. Some people, like Gëzim, the rapper, the person playing his father in the film is an actor. Because Kasim said, I want to tell the story about my father, but I don't want my father in the film.
Mm.
I don't want my father or my mother in the film. So they're actors that perform. And actually, the actor who's Luan Yaha, who plays his father, is a super famous actor in Kosovo.
Oh.
So in terms of the locations, I mean, I think, it's shot in many ways. The method is like a fiction film, but the crew was a documentary sized crew.
Hmm.
And in Kosovo, it helps a lot being a woman because you seem non-threatening because you're not assumed to have any power really.
Hmm.
So we also, the first film we had a principle that everything had to fit in the cab. So we could just have a cab driver with us and we just put everything in the trunk. So we were very, very, we would blend in so that we could basically start shooting anywhere
Hmm.
because we weren't really taking up much space. So the whole film is shot with that principle.
That is fantastic. When we see war documentaries, usually we see it from the military side or the other side of the wall. Um, what is it like to see it from like real human civilian side? Like this is so different that like it's difficult to really imagine how you would go about this. What was it like to create this?
You mean like how is it to shoot something where there's been a war, but not from the sort of the
Yeah.
mean, that's what I've been interested in all along is just this like, what is it that happens when the war is over?
Hmm.
Like we're just not like I understand that you say I haven't seen that before
Yeah.
because neither had I. You know, like when I came to Kosovo, I was like, wow, is that how it looks? You
Hmm.
know, I had seen pictures of Kosovo with, weeping women and dead bodies and graves and bombed out buildings and things like that. But I had never seen sort of what is the society that's grieving and rebuilding. How does that look?
Hmm.
Like what is the mood of it? And I think the film is very inspired by that mood. Because I experienced it very strongly when I came, and then it's also very inspired by observing because I've been going to Kosovo for so many years, for so many reasons. I've been there all the time.
Hmm.
So I've really seen the transition from right after the war to now. It's 20 years later. It's 24 years later, actually, since the war ended. And, the society is starting to come together. They have shopping malls now, which, you really see like what does progress look like? It's very interesting. A lot of it is commercial, the commercial world really
Hmm.
developing. Um, I don't know if that was an answer to your question.
Yeah, I think that was a good answer to the question. Overall, at the end of the day, what reaction are you hoping you get from this documentary?
I mean, I really hope that people watch it and expand their sense of what a post-war reality is like.
Hmm.
I really want us to become more aware of that. Because I think this tendency that we have driven by media
Hmm.
of being obsessed with, the bombings and the killings
Hmm.
and the military actions, like you say, I think it's unhealthy for us not to also think about the consequences. And I think as a society, we really have to think more deeply about the consequences of war
Hmm.
for the
Definitely.
people living there, but also for our decision to go into war.
Hmm. Definitely. Well, this w movie is definitely going to cause people to think and consider a whole different side of war. So thank you very much for your time. Thank
Thank
you
you so
very
much
much
for
for
talking.
this film.
Yeah, thank you.